Hey guys, welcome to another Ranked Cast. Today we're going to be looking at 3 games played by Daniel, the American Wonder Kid, on the European server. Daniel is a US East player, and in this first game he's matched up with Twiz from the Middle East. They're playing against Yukis and Dead Monster, 2 players who have been in and about the RLCSX range in 3v3 for the past year. They definitely have very high rated lobby here. So a couple of early goals, one mistaken defense for Twiz. Leads to Daniel being in a precarious position, but they've made up for it with a dead ball 50-50 and the closest cheat imaginable. Now Daniel, will he try to play a more aggressive stance than we're used to seeing from him to offset that ping disadvantage? Daniel is a pretty defensive player by nature, not that he doesn't have an unbelievable offensive arsenal at his disposal, but generally he will try to react to what his opponents are doing and rely on those really fast reactions that he's got to pull him out of awkward positions. That's a nice recovery on the inside of the post there, and he's right back into the game, trying to go for a sidewall double touch. Narrowly misses it. Now Twiz was, I think, looking for a bump of Dead Monster there, but he'll get back quickly as well. But the reason I'm expecting Daniel to play more aggressively in this game and in the next 2 games that we watch as well is because it's a bit easier to attack when you're playing in the away server. It's your game, nice double by Daniel, your game client is perfectly able to predict where the ball is when no one is touching it. So it's very easy when you're the one playing the ball to, it just feels like normal, it'll feel like free play. It's only when you have to react to other players' touches that the game becomes a lot more difficult. And that's why trying to play defense can be awkward. Oh, Daniel's got the ball past Dead Monster here at 3-1. And it's that really quick sidewall recovery that caught Dead Monster out of position. Brilliant technique by Daniel. The recoveries have been fantastic so far. And he's just kept Dead Monster away from the goal there for long enough as Daniel and Twiz start to connect in offense. Not the most boost available for Twiz there, so he has ground to a halt, but no problem. Daniel's going to slow down the play and buy him plenty of time to recover. Oh, what a pass as well by Twiz. He disguised that and actually managed to get it to surprise Daniel as well as the defense. Always want to look for those passes in 2v2 and 3v3. When you've got a teammate lingering down the field, usually it's better if they're at the side of the field, like Daniel was. Why not hit a pass towards them instead of doing the more traditional thing? Well, I say traditional because it's a very common misplay, in especially in ranked in Rocket League. So just hit the ball straight down the middle. And that tends to be where the other team are waiting to receive it. Daniel being very careful there. You notice he didn't use any of that 41 boost that he had. He's now up to 53, but he knew he was about to be overtaken, so there's no point in wasting that boost trying to get to the corner boost. He's not going to get there first. And that's this brilliant awareness of where his opponents are and what he is capable of in the position. This is where Daniel and Twiz want to be. They want to keep the ball as far away from their goal as possible, give themselves as long as possible to react to any shots that come their way. Daniel chips it, and there's a reset rebound attempt. He's just ran out of boost a bit too soon there. No defending that. If it's a hard shot, this is just so stressful for Dead Monster and Yukis. They can't get back corner boost control, and they can't get a hard clear. They can't even get a 50-50 because Daniel and Twiz aren't giving them one. Now, pre-flip challenge from Daniel gets them into attack again. Twiz trying to join the fray here, get the ball moving. Daniel probably would have preferred to just have some space to work with there. Space of his own. Lovely pass from Yukis. Dead Monster not able to put his car through the ball fast enough. And the attack fizzles and ends up in the orange end once again. Yukis and Dead Monster just not having an easy time clearing the ball in this matchup, and they are, I think, mechanically outmatched overall here. Not just Daniel, Twiz also is an extremely mechanical player. He's had a couple of mishits this game. That's not really what I'd expect to see from him. I've watched him play quite a lot, and he's extremely clean, extremely consistent on the regular. But Daniel really is something else, absolutely world class, and very comfortable on the away server here, showing why he is currently number 2 in the world for ranked 2v2, I think, behind only Monkey Moon, who is without a doubt the best rank 2s player at the moment, sitting rank 1 and 2s for the vast majority of this season. Early jump by Daniel, baits the pre-jump from Yukis, and he shoots under him. Looks like there's no forfeit just yet as the game goes 4-1. Oh, there is a forfeit now, so they thought about it, but decided there's no way they're going to get a comeback here. Daniel and Twiz taking the game quite comfortably in the end. There was not that much of a difference in the shots overall, but the pressure was absolutely and heavily in the favor of the blue team, and that's caused the server disadvantage to really not play as much of a factor. Look at that as well. 4 goals for Daniel. Outrageous on the away server here. Let's get into game number 2 and see how he fares. So immediately after the last game concluded, we have 3 of the same players once again. This time Yukis will be with Daniel. Twiz is back, and there's no dead monster, but we do have Atomic, who is an RLCS X Championships level player from Europe. He was, for me, the MVP of Team Queso, who had a breakout season, one of the most impressive rises to the top of the EU scene out of any team across all our LCSX regions. Even when you compare it to NA, all of those teams were teams and players we'd seen before, but Team Queso really did come out of nowhere. And again, extremely high rated lobby. How is Daniel going to handle it? He's cleanly beaten to the ball there, but at least the fact he's up in the air for it forces Atomic to respect him. If Daniel isn't in the air for this, Atomic knows he has all the time in the world, and he can just take his aim and really go for maximum placement. Twiz and Atomic are both so quick. This is going to be, I think, a bit harder to establish constant offensive pressure. There's a reset by Atomic. It's 1-0. That's fantastic play by the Spaniard. You definitely don't want to run into a team like this when you're playing with 100 ping. These guys are not going to back off. They're not going to give you any space. They're going to be constantly in your face, and they're going to be constantly going for hard to read shots on net. There's another reset by Atomic, but Daniel's recovery is just too fast. Twiz did not expect him to be on the ball in record time there. Atomic deals with the initial danger, but now a double commit gives Daniel a little bit of alone time on the ball. He wants a reset of his own. Atomic reads it. Brilliant defense there, but the placement from Yukis will go past Twiz, who was slightly awkward in the goal there. 1-1. You can see that this is a more difficult game for Daniel to get free touches on the ball, to get uncontested hits on the ball. That's what he's really trying to go for in this game. Great save as Atomic threats once again. Atomic proving to be an incredibly dangerous player. Here comes Twiz. Daniel's actually putting a lot of faith in Yukis here, and you'll wish that he didn't, because that's 2-1 off Twiz air dribble. Just a slight change of direction there. Completely fooled Yukis, and Daniel will wish that he stayed back. You never really want to leave your teammate alone in 2s. It makes their life very difficult. If not, a rotation back, definitely some ball pressure would have done Yukis a favor there. But this boost management, the boost control, has swung in the way of Daniel, and double commit to the corner will yield no results for the blue team. We saw this from Twiz in the last game when he was playing with Daniel. He loves to just get involved in these plays, even though everybody in the lobby is already on the ball. He thinks, yep, I'm going to do that as well. And I guess that sometimes, amidst the chaos, he's able to make plays, and it's certainly something that very few players would expect him to be doing. So he's got that element of surprise. Hasn't worked here though, and we're seeing consistently that it isn't working in these lobbies. And 50-50s in the defensive corner tend to go the way of the defense in 1v1 and 2v2 especially. Little pre-flip interception there by Yukis. He's going to try and go all the way here. Daniel leaves him to it, and he's back in time to think about going, but I think wisely decides against it. Daniel just pretending to turn multiple times here. He's faking challenges. Great touch by Yukis. There Daniel did have ball pressure, and that gave Yukis a better chance at saving the incoming air dribble. Hard hit by Twiz. Daniel forced to use a ton of boost to defend. But the reset at least backs up Atomic for a moment. Oh, not a good clear by Daniel. Twiz moving in for the mind game and the shot, but it's denied by Yukis. Putting up a couple of good saves. Now Daniel's demoed. Yukis again being called upon to defend, and defend he does. Fantastic stuff by Yukis. And this is, I think, just more evidence to the theory that you don't want to be defending on the away server. This has been a nightmare of a game for Daniel. Hard to avoid the demos, hard to read the touches. He does read that one though. And Yukis was almost unleashed on the counter. Instead it's Atomic who's hitting a hard shot on net. Every single time that this happens, Daniel's having to use a little bit of boost. He's having to commit to the ball. And then another attack comes their way. And there's less boost to defend with. But Daniel doesn't need boost. Double save with almost nothing in the tank. Yukis just trying not to center the ball. He wants to keep it on the awkward side, but it's not awkward for Twiz. He's doubled it off the bar and out though. But the pressure is immense. Atomic and Twiz still piling it forward. Now, finally a moment to breathe for Daniel and Yukis, but not for long. Twiz right back on them. Now they're both in a 2v1. Twiz trying to recover. Atomic just effortlessly, calmly defends and establishes another threatening air dribble immediately. It's been very much in the favor of the blue team, but the excellent defending of Team Orange has kept them in it. Now Yukis, oh, he didn't need to get back there. There was no shot coming. 2-2, overtime. A much more difficult game for Daniel to exert his offensive prowess. And I think only really one mistake, that being said, leaving Yukis alone for a boost steal when Twiz had the ball. That was definitely not the right play in that position. Apart from that, it's defended excellently, and Yukis as well, putting in tons of work. And Daniel unable to get that boost. He'll probably be a bit surprised by that. He thought he was getting it, and now he's really out of position. But Yukis, once again, has done so well to slow down the play. Not only that, he might be scoring. He's almost 1v2'd Atomic and Twiz. Now he wants to drop down pass. Daniel is playing for the boost steal instead. Long game has been initiated, and Atomic is not in a great spot here. Twiz with the ball pressure, stays on it. Daniel trips him, and he has to back off, giving Atomic the long shot. So Atomic is just trying to keep Daniel and Yukis honest with the occasional hard hit on target, saying you better not move up too far because I might be hard clearing any of these times. Then after hard clear, he'll usually mix it up with an air dribble. Look at the speed of Twiz into Atomic, who's out of boost. That could have easily been 3-2. Recovery is good for Atomic again. Daniel grinds to a halt, and Yukis is the one who is doing most of the heavy lifting in this overtime. So much time alone in defense, but he's done well after that one goal conceded. And here comes Daniel. No defense up early to intercept. Atomic waits in the goal and does deny the shot. Should be safe here for Daniel. He's able to stay next to this one all the way down. Still, Twiz getting it around him. Twiz has had a great game, beating opponents to the ball, showing his speed, and that's not to, nothing surprising coming out of the Middle East region, coming out of Saudi Arabia. All the players prefer to go rather than stay. You kind of have to, like I've been mentioning. Not only Middle East, also, you've got to constantly give praise to South American players on the US East server, Australian players on the US West server, and even US West players on the US East server. There's a lot of nations, a lot of regions worldwide who consistently play with a ping disadvantage, and we've seen in the EU-NA show matches recently that it's pretty hard to do that. In fact, no team from Europe or America was able to take a series on the away server in any of the show matches that were played. Still 2-2 overtime. Daniel rushes, expecting Twiz to do the same, but now Twiz has switched it up and slow played. Daniel picks up pads. Yukis has done really well there, but Atomic is in the way of them. Oh, what a save by Daniel! Pre-jump save on Atomic's shot, which was heading into the goal. And it's just been something else defensively by these two. Atomic and Twiz will feel like they should have won this a few times. They've got to be careful though, because now the boost is very much available for Daniel and Yukis. They've got a really strong position. Daniel past one, He's just got to beat Atomic here, and he does. Atomic with nothing left has to concede, and that was a quick ending to the game. 3-2. What a scoreboard. Daniel and Yukis putting up ridiculous defensive stands, and not only with the saves, also with the 50-50s in the back corner. The interceptions, the stalling, especially by Yukis, giving Daniel time to recover, really just surviving an onslaught of 16 shots to 8. And yeah, winning on the away server the hard way there for Daniel. That's not how you want to do it. You definitely would rather be in offense, but still able to make the saves when it matters. We've got one more game in today's video. Let's get into it. So this game came the very next day. First two were the day prior. And Daniel is up against Twiz once again. This time he has Mossin in his team, another Middle Eastern player. And he's going up against Azrael, who is widely regarded as one of the best players in the world, and definitely one of the best players in Europe, of course. And he is playing in the car that I call the NASCAR. I've been told that it's definitely not the right name for it. But as a naive European, that's what I'm going to call it. Now Daniel, 1v1 with Twiz, takes to the air, wants the bump, and gets the bump. 1-0 in the blink of an eye. Defense turns into attack, and that is Daniel doing it all there. Now he was briefly in a pretty tricky position. Had Twiz landed his double on target. Oh, look at this. Daniel off the ceiling. Mossin actually fired it close to him, but it turns out Mossin was trying to air dribble this. Don't know if he saw what Daniel had planned there with the pre-jump off the ceiling. And then Mossin getting a touch on Astral there. Doesn't get anything on the ball, but he doesn't have to as long as he takes the player out of the game. Daniel, again with a quick transition, gets away from the demo. Behind him, wanted a double reset. Actually landed it, but the first one took him too far away from the ball. Daniel up, but so is Mossin. They're not reading each other all that well yet, and I think this is probably just Daniel not being familiar with the Middle Eastern players and the way they like to play, because Middle Eastern players, if they're on the ball, they stay on the ball, and Daniel might be expecting rotations away from it here. It's not going to happen. It's not how they play. They prioritize ball pressure pretty much at all times, whereas at least from the games I've seen in ranked, US East players tend to rotate. NA players and even EU players to a lesser extent tend to just go for a more rotational style and try to lob the ball to each other. Mossin will just continue to pressure this, and there's no right or wrong way to play, but what you can definitely say is that the style that we're seeing from Mossin in this game and from Twiz in the last game, it does make it a lot easier to play when you have a ping disadvantage. We saw in the last game Twiz had a much easier game than Daniel. So he was constantly attacking, constantly on the ball. Daniel was having to do the defensive work. Now Mossin's demo leaves the net open, and it's 2-0. So they have synergized well on that play. If Daniel wants to keep synergizing well with Mossin and with other ME players, they'll just have to let them do their thing. And oh wow, Mossin does his thing on that play. 3-0, and it's over. That is an early forfeit. Astral and Twiz not happy with how the game is going, and Twiz will overall not be too happy with how his little rivalry with Daniel went there. They won together, and then Daniel beat him twice. So Daniel coming out on top of that little rivalry there on the EU server. And all in all, just showing what an incredible player he is. When he's given space, he can make plays. When he's called upon to defend, he absolutely can. And I expect to see more success from Daniel in the coming months and year as he gets closer and closer to that age where he can finally play RLCS. I believe it's going to be, I think it's December this year. So he's only off by half a year now. And then he'll be, I think, the most in-demand player that we've had in the Rocket League scenes, probably since First Killer and Scrub Killer. But yeah, GG's Daniel taking every game in the European server. Actually, a 50-50 of Europeans and Middle Eastern players in these lobbies, all with different play styles and preferences. But do remember that the reason why players with a ping disadvantage play like this is because it's easier to do that. It's much easier to attack than it is to defend. Much easier to be proactive than it is to react. And I think Daniel could do that extremely well if he felt like just ball chasing and going crazy. I think it would probably lead to a lot of easier games to play, but also it's a riskier strategy, so it can get you in trouble, and probably wouldn't lead to as high of a ladder rank, because if you look at the players who are high in the twos ladder, Monkey Moon, Daniel, Sipical, Khaled, First Killer, these are all players I would consider pretty defensive by nature. And that's, I think, better for ranking up. But yeah, individual games, you're definitely going to have an easier time in the away server if you just go. Don't try and back off fake challenges and then react to the shot, because the shot's going to be too hard to read. It's going to come at you too fast. You're not going to have any success. That being said, I would encourage you guys to give these games a go, because I've been playing a bit of US East recently, even US West actually, playing with anything between 100 and 180 ping, and it's a ton of fun. It's a different game. You get to see what it is that these players have to put up with on a daily basis. It'll really help you respect their craft a whole lot more, and you'll realize just how impressive it is that players like Daniel can go on the away server and still dominate. We've seen that from a lot of these high-rated guys in the past, going to ridiculous ping and still being fine. You've got to try it before you can really appreciate how difficult it is. But yeah, thanks for watching today's video, guys. That's all we've got time for today. If there's anyone else and any other players you'd want me to try and find replays of playing in the away servers, then leave them in the comments. But have a good rest of your day, and again, thanks for watching.